Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's nightly news. On to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, extends congratulations to the Algerian people and the Islamic Ummah on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. President Tebboune receives a phone call from his brother, the President of the Brotherly Republic of Tunisia, Qais Said, on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. On the eve of Eid, pilgrims depart for Muzdalifah on an atmosphere of devotion and faith. Relentless strikes on Gaza leave over 70 dead as Algeria reaffirms support for Palestine at the UN Security Council. Welcome back. We begin with the speech of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, on the occasion of Eid al-Adha al-Mubarak, in which he congratulated all Algerians in the homeland and abroad, as well as our pilgrims.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وصل اللهم وسلم على إمامنا وحبيبنا ونبينا سيدنا محمد ألف صلاة وألف سلام عليه. أيتها المواطنات أيها المواطنون، سنستقبل غدا إن شاء الله عيد الأضحى المبارك لنحيي سنة سيدنا إبراهيم الخليل عليه السلام، ونجعل منها مناسبة للتكافل والتغافر والتسامح. وبهذه المناسبة أتوجه بتهانية خالصة لكل الجزائريات والجزائريين داخل الوطن، ولجاليتنا في الخارج، ولحجاجنا الميامين في البقاع المقدسة، متمنيا لهم إتمام مناسكهم في أحسن الظروف. كما أهني بهذه المناسبة الأمة العربية والإسلامية قاطبة، وأخص بالذكر أشقاءنا في فلسطين المحتلة الجريحة، راجيا من الله أن يمن عليهم بالشفاء وبرفع عنهم الظلم. وفي الأخير نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يديم علينا نعمة الأمن والأمان، ويتغمد شهدائنا الأبرار برحمته الواسعة. عيدكم سعيد، كل عام وأنتم بخير. تحيا الجزائر شامخة سيدة أبية، المجد والخلود لشهدائنا الأبرار، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
In a related context, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received a phone call from his brother, the President of the Brotherly Tunisian Republic, Qais Said, in which he congratulated him on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, wishing him and the Algerian people continued progress and prosperity. For his part, the President exchanged congratulations with his Tunisian counterpart, praying Allah Almighty to bestow continued happiness and well-being on the brotherly Tunisian people. On the same occasion, the two presidents reiterated their readiness to continue working together for the benefit of the two brotherly peoples, the two countries, and the region as a whole. And as the sun set on the blessed day of Arafat, pilgrims made their way to Muzdalifah, where they are spending the night until dawn of the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, or the first day of Eid al-Adha, during which they will embark on a journey till Minan before moving towards Rami al-Jamarat, or ritual of stoning, all while echoing at-Tahleel and Takbir. Arafah Day marks the peak of Hajj, when pilgrims gather at Mount Arafah in Mecca. Millions of Muslims prayed Allah Almighty and seeked His forgiveness, as it is a day of mercy, reflection, and spiritual renewal. Story by Manan Maf.
Today marked the most significant moment of the Hajj or pilgrimage, the day of Arafah. From early morning, millions of pilgrims gathered at Mount Arafah, united in worship and reflection. In an atmosphere filled with devotion, they raised their hands in prayer, seeking Allah's mercy, forgiveness, and inner peace. The importance of this day extends far beyond the pilgrimage itself. For Muslims around the world, Arafah is a sacred day of fasting, prayer, and spiritual connection with Allah. By midday, pilgrims came together for a special prayer at Namira Mosque, located where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once prayed during his farewell pilgrimage. The rest of the day was spent in deep supplication at Mount Arafah, a place that symbolizes the anticipation of the Day of Judgment. As the sun set, pilgrims made their way toward Al-Muzdalifah, a nearby valley where they would spend the night under the open sky. Soon, they will return to Mecca for the final ritual. Al-Hajj, one of Islam's 5 pillars, continues to bring together millions of believers each year in a powerful expression of unity and faith.
And on the eve of Eid al-Adha, markets are bustling and preparations are in full swing. From fresh produce to sharpened blades, families and butchers alike are getting ready for a day marked by faith and community spirit. The beautiful atmosphere depicted for us by Ms. Salila Balaman.
As Eid al-Adha approaches, markets come alive with a vibrant atmosphere. Families carefully select fresh ingredients, from vegetables and herbs to spices, all destined for festive meals that will grace every table. The air is filled with chatter, and every corner reflects the excitement of the common celebration.
These are part of our customs and Algerian traditions. We shop ahead of Eid to be at ease during the holiday and the days after.
On se prépare, on fait nos emplettes et tout pour être tranquille.
For Eid, we buy a few things: vegetables, potatoes for the kids, charcoal, and grills.
On se prépare.
After buying the sheep, which is already at home, we get vegetables to prepare the barbecue. It's a tradition we repeat every year, and as Muslims, we prepare for this celebration.
La viande. Donc voilà, c'est des traditions et c'est des coutumes qui se répètent chaque année.
Behind the scenes, butcher shops are a hive of activity. Knives are sharpened, tools cleaned, and logistics set in place to ensure everything runs smoothly on the day of the sacrifice.
The animals delivered on Eid aren't butchered right away. They're first stored in cold rooms. The equipment is cleaned the day before to be ready.
When the day arrives, the sacrifice is performed with profound care and respect. Beyond the religious rite, Eid al-Adha is a time of joy, generosity, and togetherness. Streets echo with laughter, meals are shared, and a strong sense of unity brings everyone together.
Je vous souhaite aussi Eid Mubarak.
نتمنى لهم عيد سعيد وكل عام وهم بخير ان شاء الله.
عيدكم مبارك ان شاء الله وان شاء الله قعدنا سعيد بخير على خير ان شاء الله.
The late Mujahid Mustafa Boudina, president of the National Association of Former Death Row Convicts, was buried on Thursday after Al-Asr prayer at Al Aliya Cemetery. The funeral took place in the presence of the late's family and close ones. The Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Azzouz Nasri, the Principal Private Secretary to the Presidency of the Republic, Ba'alam Ba'alam, members of the government, in addition to Mujahideen and citizens who attended the funeral. In other sad news, Algeria lost one of its leading professors in the environment. The university professor and researcher Abderrahman Ben Khalifa passed away. The late was one of the founders of the Faculty of the Environmental Sciences of Algeria. He leaves behind a rich career of over 3 decades devoted to research and crowned with many international publications and contributions. He was buried today in Al-Bayt. Indeed, to Allah we belong, and to Him we shall return. On to the communique of the Ministry of National Defense. After the search and sweep operation effected by detachment of the People's National Army in the zone of Budakhan in the military sector of Khanshla in the 5th Military Region, which resulted in the elimination of 2 terrorists and the recovery of 2 Kalashnikov-type submachine guns and a quantity of ammunition. The identification operation made it possible to determine the identity of one of the terrorists killed. Concerns the terrorist Marikhi Abdurrahman, known as Hudayfa Abu Bushra, who joined terrorist groups in 2007. He was the emir of a terrorist group operating in the east of the country. Algeria's push for economic diversification is fueling a new wave of youth-led innovation, earning global attention during the Global Entrepreneurship Congress in the United States. Mili Salila Baraman with the full story.
Through a series of deliberate and wide-reaching reforms, Algeria has taken significant steps to transform its economic model. Focused on diversifying its economy and strengthening the private sector, the country has created conditions that encourage entrepreneurial activity and innovation. These efforts have helped unleash the potential of the Algerian youth, whose projects are now gaining visibility and recognition at both national and international levels, notably at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress.
It was a productive trip that resulted in a new partnership between our startup and the president of the Global Entrepreneurship Network. We were proud to represent Algeria at the forum. Our aim was to explore the business environment in the US and other global markets and to build partnerships with stakeholders in the Arab region.
Looking ahead, Algeria's youth is moving forward with confidence, entering high-stakes sectors and pursuing success through innovation and determination.
I'm here present with Gen Algeria and a huge delegation of startups, entrepreneurs at the JAG 2025 Indiana. Regarding the program, it was quite interesting. We had plenty of interesting workshops, meeting up with investors, VCs, venture capitals, and other people from different countries.
In a short span of time, Algeria has laid the foundations for a knowledge-driven economy, positioning itself as a leader in entrepreneurship across the African continent.
In his speech during a Security Council session devoted to the situation in the Middle East, Algeria's permanent representative to the UN, Ammar bin Jama, emphasized on behalf of Algeria and the 3 African countries +1 the importance of the Syrian authorities attached to contribution to cooperation and positive communication with the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. He also welcomes the recent international economic developments related to the lifting of sanctions by major international donors to obtain loans from international financial institutions, expressing deep concern regarding the deterioration of the security situation in parts of Syria, especially the increase of Zionist raids, calling for the immediate halt of Zionist attacks on Syria, which did not affirm the unity, sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of Syria. And Gaza remains under relentless bombardments, with more than 70 killed and hundreds wounded in the last 24 hours. Even refugee camps are not spared by the barbarity of the Zionist occupier. The humanitarian crisis deepens as global calls for action grow louder, but bring little to no change. Manal Maafa with more.
Gaza faced another deadly day with over 70 killed and nearly 200 injured in 24 hours. Among the victims were 4 journalists struck by a drone at Al Ahli Hospital. Relentless airstrikes hit even makeshift shelters in refugee camps, claiming more lives, many of them were children. Those who survive face starvation as the humanitarian crisis deepens. Meanwhile, U.S. opposition to a ceasefire continues to draw widespread condemnation.
The draft resolution that was halted today was not the voice of a few, but the collective will of the entire world. North and south, east and west. 14 out of 15 Security Council members. It was a message to the people of Palestine. You are not alone. You are not alone. And it was a message to the Israeli occupier. The world watched you.
The anger has spilled beyond international forums. In Marseille, France, port workers made their stance clear. The CGT union led a 24-hour strike, not just in support of Palestinians, but to highlight how foreign policy choices can steer protests far from the front lines.
Let's turn our attention now to sports, and as part of the preparations for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers and the 2025 African Cup of Nations, the national team won on Thursday 2-1 against the Rwandan team with 2 goals scored by Youssef Belaili and Joan Hadjem.
التالية والكرة لهشام بوداوي من جهته مع لوجيسينيس يلعب المباراة التصفية ممتازة والهدف ممتازة. يوسف بلايلي يسجل الهدف الأول للمنتخب الجزائري بعد عمل رائع. هاي الإعادة الهدف الثاني والكيفية لاسيست رائع جدا من بلايلي وهدف أيضا جميل جدا من حد.
End of our news. Thank you for watching. صحايتكم.